I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today. You was bony and looking too funny today. I don't care, niggas still make change. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. I'm your host, Fat Cheeze, and y'all already know the motto: no gimmicks, only the real. This is episode 29. Y'all know what I need from y'all. Smash that subscribe button. We on our way to 200 subscribers. And also, do not forget to like and share the content. Let's get right into it. So as we all know, Sunday was the end of the NFL regular season. And we know what comes with that. Unfortunately, people lose their job. Jerod Mayo, first-year head coach of the New England Patriots, was relieved of his duties after winning his final regular season game against the Buffalo Bills 23-16. So the topic that I came up with today was, did the Patriots do Jerod Mayo wrong? So Mayo's tenure lasted one season with team, announcing it was moving on shortly after Sunday's 23-16 win over the Buffalo Bills. The Patriots finished 4-13. Kraft handpicked Mayo as Bill Belichick's successor after 24 seasons, citing his knack for connecting with a younger generation of players and bringing people together. Kraft had acknowledged there would be growing pains in Mayo's first year, in part because he inherited one of the least talented rosters in the NFL. The Patriots started 7 different offensive line configurations in the first 7 weeks of the season and 10 different combinations by season end because of personnel missteps, injuries, and poor performance. So my thoughts on the topic is absolutely I feel like the Patriots did Jerod Mayo wrong. And Robert Kraft, I got a bone to pick with you. And let me start out first by saying this. I was a Robert Kraft guy. I looked at him, I thought, he was a pretty good guy. Seeing what he's done, seeing what the things that he's done with the Patriots throughout the years, of course, with Tom Brady leading that dynasty, him and Bill Belichick. I see what he do, hanging with, guys like Meat Mills and all that, things like that. That's cool and dandy, but I looked at Robert Kraft as a good guy. I'm going to be honest with you. After this decision, I no longer, and I hate to come off like this, and this is bad, but from this point leading forward, I don't wish any good on the New England Patriots and that organization, because I feel like Jerod Mayo was a scapegoat for you guys. This man gets his first head coaching job after being under Bill Belichick for a couple of seasons. You give him the job. You handpick him and give him the job. You could have hired anybody else. You handpicked this man and gave him the job. This team won 4 games last year. 4 games. That's how they were able to select Drake May with the number 3 overall pick. This man inherited one of the worst rosters in the NFL. No wide receivers, offensive line being shifted in and out all season. And you expect this man to turn around and do what? In the same division with the Buffalo Bills, who's one of the best teams in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? You expected him to do what? Make the playoffs? I'm trying to figure out what was your plan leading into this season. Robert Kraft, you said out your own mouth you knew that it would be growing pains for him in his first season, but yet you fired a man at the end of the season. On top, not even just fired him. The man won his last game. He started the season with a bridge veteran quarterback and Jacoby Brissett. Then you ended up switching him out with Drake May, who's a first-round overall pick but is a rookie. And these are the Patriots wide receivers. These are the Patriots wide receivers that they had to work with throughout the year. Keyshawn Butte, Kendrick Bourne, and Demario Douglas. Those are the wide receivers. This is the offensive firepower you gave this man. And Robert Kraft, I'm trying to figure out, what did you expect to happen? You expected this man to succeed with this? I just read it at the beginning. 7 different offensive line configurations in the first 7 weeks of the season, and 10 different combinations by season's end on the offensive line with a rookie quarterback. Subpar defense. This team won 4 games last year. But you know what you just did, Robert Kraft? Now this is what we love to do, because one thing we do on this podcast, I'm gonna hold you accountable. So now this is what I'm expecting from Robert Kraft moving forward. Any head coach that you hire, I don't care who it is, Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, I'm just throwing names out there, Ben Johnson, any of the candidates that you decide, whoever you guys decide to go with, if the team don't perform the way you expect them to perform next year and moving forward, I expect you to move on from them after the first year. So if the team underperforms next year, that coach need to be let go and you need to be looking for another coach. Because, I mean, that's what you did to this man. Bill Belichick went 5-11 his first season with the Patriots as the head coach. You didn't get rid of him after his first season. They scapegoated Jerod Mayo. Gronk spoke on it on the Fox Network. Well, they went to commercial when Gronk tried to speak on it. Benjamin Watson, the former Patriots tight end, spoke on. They scapegoated this man. And I'm gonna be honest, Robert Kraft, you lost a lot of cool points with me for this one because you didn't even get a man a chance to, you know what I'm saying? You didn't get a man a chance to progress and do what he needed to do to try to get this team to where it needed to be. You gave this man one season with one of the worst teams, with one of the worst group of talent in the NFL. Like that doesn't even register to me. Now I'm thinking, are you mad because he won his last game and you guys didn't end up with the number 1 pick? Because going into week 18, the Patriots did have the number 1 pick. I don't know if maybe they were upset because he won the game. I don't know, but come on, man, you can't get this man one season and expect for him to flip. This is one of the worst teams in the NFL, and you expected him to flip it in one season. So I'm trying to figure out with this new head coach. Now, I'm really going to look at you funny is with this, if this new head coach come in and you try to do something you go all in the off season and don't do for him what you didn't do for Jerod Mayo because you gave him scraps to work with. I'm shocked they even won 4 games. The biggest shock was them beating Cincinnati week 1. I'm shocked they won 4 games with this roster. Come on, man, it's ridiculous. This is more things that I read. Meanwhile, after Executive Vice President of Player Personnel, Elliot Wolf, stressed the need to weaponize the offense in the offseason to support rookie quarterback Drake May, opponents had little fear of receiving corps with Keyshawn Butte, Kendrick Bourne, and Demario Douglas atop the depth chart. Part of that is tied to coaching. And lack of development, as the Patriots had first-year position coaches at offensive line and receiver and didn't see their rookies progress to become the front-line contributors they hoped they would be. So even the vice president of player personnel let you guys know, hey, we need to make some moves in the offseason if we want to try to maximize rookie head coach and rookie quarterback. We need to make some moves in the offseason. You guys decided not to do that. That's not on Jerod Mayo. That's the front office to make those decisions and say, you know what? We going to do what we need to do to best put our team in position to succeed. You failed the team, not him. I'm trying to figure out what is he supposed to do with these weapons and everything, that he was given. I'm trying to figure out, Robert Kraft, what did you expect this man to do with that? I don't get it. You scapegoated him. It's clear as day this was a scapegoat thing, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I feel like this man, you know what I'm saying, he deserved better than that. If that's the case, you should have let him move on and go to another team or kept him in a position or did something. But for you to handpick this man to be your head coach, and after one season with this terrible ass roster, then you decide, okay, we just gonna go ahead and move on. So now what's the plan? Because like I said, now Robert Kraft, I'm telling you, you put yourself in a position because now you got to keep that same energy. So if whoever you decide to hire, if the team underperforms next season, I expect that head coach to be relieved of his duties. Since you decided to do that with Jerod Mayo, this team won 4 games last year. 4 games. You didn't make no drastic changes, no nothing. You expect this man to come in as a first-year head coach and flip this whole thing around? Come on, man, stop it. And you know what this remind me of? This remind me of the same thing the Cardinals did with Steve Wilkes in 2018. This is the exact same thing. And I took some quotes from when the Cardinals relieved him of his duties. The Cardinals started 0-4. They changed quarterbacks after week 3, moving from veteran Sam Bradford to rookie Josh Rosen. But Rosen threw more interceptions than touchdowns during the 3-10 run as a starter. But they blamed Steve Wilkes for that. Fired the man after one season. But you know what they did? They hired Cliff Kingsbury that summer. And what they do with the first draft pick? Drafted Kyler Murray. The Cardinals haven't done anything. They haven't done anything. So that's the problem. That's the problem. You guys give these head coach, and I find it ironic, but you give these guys these putrid teams, and you put all this pressure on them. And I'm gonna call it what it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is my shit. You give these African American head coaches these putrid teams, and don't get me wrong, it's some Caucasian head coaches that get dealt the shorthand as well. I'm not going to sit up here and act like it's just African Americans, but you give these guys these putrid teams and you expect them to flip it around, and if they don't flip it around in a year, then all of a sudden, it's time to go and move on. But then we bring in the Caucasian coach and we do everything we feel like needs to be done for them to best succeed. But why not do it for the guy that you just had? Why not do it for the guy that you just had? It makes no sense. Look at all these other coaches that get ample opportunities. Ample opportunities. Look at what the Dolphins did to Brian Flores. They got him up out of there because I guess he was hard on the players or whatever the case may be. What have the Dolphins done since Brian Flores left? What has he done? And I like the Dolphins head coach McDaniels. But what have they done? They haven't done anything. We got to stop that, bro. We got to stop that. Like I said, Jerod Mayo was absolutely 100% done dirty by the Patriots. And Robert Kraft, you lost some cool points with me. Hopefully the new Jerod Mayo lands himself another job. I don't know if it'll be a head coaching job, but linebacker coach, defensive coordinator. The Patriots will have, yet again, a top 10 pick in the draft. I don't know what they decide. I don't know what they're gonna decide to do. But Robert Kraft, I'm telling you, and I'm gonna be paying close attention. Whoever you decide to hire, if they do not reach the expectations that you are looking for next season, I expect the Patriots to be looking for another coach at the end of next season. Because if you don't, and you let this man go out, this his first head coaching gig, it's gonna raise some eyebrows. Moving on. So, on Sunday, the Miami Dolphins ended up losing their last game of the season to the New York Jets, eliminating them from the playoffs. And after the game, star wide receiver Tyreek Hill, basically in so many words, requested a trade in the locker room after the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my thoughts on what I think about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and read some quotes and read the stuff that I wrote down. So Tyreek Hill was asked what his message was to the team heading into the offseason. This is the quote from Tyreek Hill after the game. "I don't even know, bro," he said. "This is my first time I haven't been in the playoffs, man. I mean, for me, like I said, I just gotta do what's best for me and my family. If that's here, if that's wherever, if that's wherever the case may be, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. I'm opening the door. Like I'm out, bro. You know, it was great playing here, but at the end of the day, I gotta do what's best for my career, cause I'm too much of a competitor to just be out there." Hill played sparingly in the game while nursing a wrist injury. He suggested that if the Chiefs were more competitive with Denver, he might have played more. After the game, Mike McDaniel seemed to suggest Tyreek Hill quit on the team and lost to the Jets. "I was informed that he was unavailable right before a drive," McDaniel told reporters in a post-game presser. "I was not informed that it was a new injury. I think at that point in time, my focus was on the players my focus was on the players. There was guys on the field that were competing. We were trying to win a game. Tyreek Hill was under contract for another season, but there's a potential out following the 2025 season. His salary means that a trade would be tough, but it is doable. I got his contract. Okay. Hill was under contract for the next 2 seasons with the cap number of 27.7 in 2025 and 51.9 million in 2026. My thoughts on this, I don't feel bad for Tyreek Hill. And in all honesty, I think the way that Tyreek Hill went about it was all wrong. I think if you wanted to request a trade or whatever, you could have waited until maybe later on. Let the steam calm down. Everybody's frustrated. You lost. You're not going to the playoffs. I think he could have waited after, everything calmed down, went home, sat, thought about it, and then came out with the request. For you to do this right after a game, number one, you made it about yourself. Number two, for your head coach to come out and say you wasn't available right before a drive and he wasn't informed about any new injury, but you're saying the reason that you sat out, that you didn't play as much as you could have if the game was competitive with the Chiefs in Denver was because of wrist injury. That doesn't make sense, because your head coach would have known about any injuries you had going into the game. So yes, I look at it as Tyreek Hill basically quit on the team and he let them know he wanted out. I don't feel bad for Tyreek Hill. You know why? Because you went to Miami to chase the bag. You knew you left a situation where you could have been a multi-time Super Bowl champion in Kansas City. You was the best wide receiver in football, playing along. You was one of the best wide receivers in football, if not the best, playing with the best quarterback in football. You were chasing the bag. Kansas City wasn't willing to give you what you wanted, so you decided to go to Miami. Everybody knows this, but I'm a reiterate it. But everybody knows this. More than likely, the teams that can give out the most money likely are not very good teams. Most of the times, the teams that's willing to spend the most money in the offseason are not very good teams. So you knew what you were getting yourself into. You're the same guy that went to Miami. You bragged on how much on Tua and his accuracy, and Tua can be just as good as Mahomes. Stop it, bro. Nobody's buying that. Nobody bought that. You went to Miami to chase the bag. You knew what you were getting yourself into, and now you're there. Now you're there. So I don't want to hear I'm trying to do what's best for me and my family. No, bro, you don't. Yeah, you did what was best for you and your family. You left Kansas City to go chase the bag in Miami. Your family taken care of, bro. Your family taken care of. You could have been a 4-time Super Bowl champion if you had stayed in Kansas City. But this right here is a fair case of the grass is not always green on the other side. You can't want the money. You can't chase the money, but then on the other hand say you want to win too. Because I ain't hear you request a trade or nothing like that when you was having 1,700 yard seasons with Miami. I ain't hear you requested Miami. Miami been one and done in the playoffs, and don't get me wrong, you did go to Miami and make a hell of a difference. You made a hell of a difference, but I ain't hit when you was getting your numbers, when you was making Pro Bowls, because you didn't make the Pro Bowl this year and you didn't hit 1,000 yards. But when you was getting your Pro Bowl numbers and doing all that, and you ain't never come out and say you wanted no trade. So come on, bro, you can't do that. Tua Tagovailoa has been injury prone since he's entered the NFL. He was injury prone in Alabama. And I've been telling everybody, I don't care who the Dolphins, I never cared who the Dolphins picked up. I always had question marks by Tua. I always said I don't think the Dolphins can win with Tua as they starting quarterback. And he's been nothing but injury prone since he's been in the league. So I'm just trying to figure out what clicked in your mind finally to say, damn, I ain't gonna never win here. But you had the perfect thing going in Kansas City. And guess what? So I'm gonna go ahead and go over, the situation with him in Kansas City. So the Kansas City Chiefs offered Tyreek Hill a sizable contract extension lower than what Hill was presented by the Miami Dolphins. Hill was drafted by the Chiefs with the 165th pick of the 2016 NFL Draft. However, the real reason he left the Chiefs was because the Dolphins offered him a contract he said he simply couldn't turn down. Hill camp did give the Chiefs a chance to match the Dolphins' offer, but they refused to do so. Instead, they worked out a deal with the Dolphins that included 5 draft picks in exchange for Tyreek Hill. And guess what? They got 5 draft picks, let you go to Miami, and still ended up winning the Super Bowl. Because guess what? Patrick Mahomes is that dude. But you seeing it now. Everybody not Patrick Mahomes, bro. Everybody not Patrick Mahomes. You thought you chased the bag and went to Miami, and you believe that, well, guess what? I'm that guy. So I can make any quarterback good. No, sir. Every quarterback is not Patrick Mahomes, bro. So now you basically quit on the team. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, I don't see how I bring him back after this. There's no way you can allow him. If McDaniels went up to that podium and basically said that Tyreek Hill quit on the team, there's no way we can go and I can just let him back in the facility. You know what I'm saying? I can let him back in the facility and act like nothing happened. It's now to the point where he has to be traded. He has to be traded. For him to say what he said is now to a point where he has to be traded. Now, there's some teams I believe that some team may say, you know what, we're willing to take the baggage and everything that comes with him, and we'll take a chance on Tyreek. And I think it's some teams out there that actually should make the move. But bro, this is right here. This right here is a perfect example of the grass is not always green on the other side. The Kansas City Chiefs took a chance on you, bro. They took a chance on you when nobody else wanted to touch you because of the legal issues and everything you had in college. Then when they drafted you, the fans and everything, they didn't want nothing to do with you and everything, and the Chiefs stuck by you the whole time, bro. And now guess what? Your time. I mean, and now you won it out. They graced you. They gave you what you wanted. After sticking by you all that time, you still won it out because they wasn't willing to give you probably a couple million more that the Dolphins was. You chased the bag, and now you got what you asked for. You got what you asked for. Simple. Then you bash the team. You get to Miami. You constantly taking shots at the Chiefs. You talking about Tua can be the same, probably more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. All this BS. And now look, now you won out. And guess what the Chiefs been doing? They just been winning. Possibly on the verge of a three-peat. You could have been a part of that. You could have been a 4-time champion. But instead, you a 1-time champion. In Miami, you chased the bag and you ain't winning nothing. Because Miami ain't winning nothing. Because we all know the only way I can see Miami winning something is if they get the number 1 seed in the AFC and they don't got to leave out of Miami. Because anytime they got to leave out of Miami and go in that cold, we already know what's going on. We already know they going packing. Because they can't play in cold weather. So, I don't know how this situation going to pan out. Like I said, for McDaniels to go up on that podium and basically insinuate that Tyreek Hill quit on the team, I don't see that. I don't see a way where he's back with Miami next season. If I'm his teammates or anything, I don't want him back. If I have it in my mind that you quit on us, I don't want him back. So I don't know how this thing gonna unfold. But I don't see a scenario where Tyreek Hill is back with the Miami Dolphins next season. But we'll have to wait and see. So moving on, I gotta get in my basketball bag. And this right here ain't about no games or nothing. This was something that I've been keeping up with, and I felt, it was some kind of special to me. But if you watch my generation of basketball, this should be something special to all of us. So last week, the Chicago Bulls announced that they will be retiring Derrick Rose's jersey next season. His number 1 will be going in the Raptors in Chicago. And first and foremost, I want to say congratulations to Derrick Rose, bro. You deserve it 100%. We all know that injuries robbed Derrick Rose of would have been a hell of a career. Who knows what would have happened if he never got injured. One of the high-flying, most exciting point guards to ever touch the NBA. And it was just unfortunate what injuries did to him. But I'm gonna go ahead and read some of the things that Derrick Rose accomplished, before hanging it up. He was Illinois' Mr. Basketball in 2017. He was a McDonald's All-American 2007. He was 4th team All-American in 2006. 3rd team All-American in 2005. He was 1st team Parade All-American in 2007. 3rd team All-American 2008. He was an NBA All-Rookie 1st team in 2009. NBA Rookie of the Year in 2009. All-NBA 1st team in 2011. He was a 3-time All-Star 2010, 2011, and 2012. He was 2011 Most Valuable Player. He played with the Bulls 2008 through 2016, and we all know he was born in Chicago, Illinois, and was the number 1 overall pick in 2018 to the Chicago Bulls. When I first got a win to Derrick Rose, and I'm going to tell you, it's crazy. The NCAA basketball game. When NCAA basketball game was out around, I don't remember the last one that came out off the top of my head, but all I do know is when me and my brother used to play the game, the NCAA basketball game, they didn't have names on the back of the jerseys. So you didn't know who it was, but you knew who was the good player, like who was the like that players, because they'll have like a little star by him or something like that. And I knew like OJ Mayo. I don't know if they was all in the same class or whatever, but all I know is we used to play the game, and I know anytime I played up against Memphis, the computer, whatever team I picked, number 25 for Memphis. And I'm like, bro, this dude is like that. I never knew, I didn't know his name or whatever. And at the time, I really wasn't into college basketball. So one day I'm at the house, and I don't remember. I think this had to be during March Madness or whatever. But I finally got to see him live, watch him, and it was Derrick Rose. And I knew his name. I said, okay, this is who I've been going up against on the NCAA game. And he was one of the guys that I just followed, just because I liked this game. It was different. Normally, when I was younger growing up, majority of the time, the new era of point guard, people didn't consider him a point guard, but I consider Allen Iverson a point guard. You know what I'm saying? And Allen Iverson was my all-around favorite player growing up. But his style of point guard was different from, guys like Isaiah Thomas and guys like the traditional point guard pass first. Allen Iverson would score first, so I took a liking to him. So every time I seen a point guard that was score first and all, it's like it's something about Derrick Rose that I just took a liking to. But man, when he first came into the NBA with the Chicago Bulls, just him and Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook deserves his flowers too, man. Just the explosiveness, the high flying ability, dunking on everybody. It was different. It was different at that time. And I said, man, these dudes, they revolutionized the game. Now you seeing guys like Ja and guys like those. What we got in Ja now, that was Derrick Rose. You know what I'm saying? And just watching them, and that 2011 season, that MVP season, that was something special. That team with him, Luol Deng, Taj Gibson, Carlos Boozer, Joakim Noah, I think it was Kirk Heinrich was on that team. That Bulls team was exciting. The only thing was they couldn't get over that hump against LeBron, the Cleveland and LeBron. But that's LeBron. That ain't nothing to hold your head over. But it was unfortunate to see, it was fun to watch Derrick Rose in his prime. If you never was able to watch Derrick Rose in his prime, go back and look at Derrick Rose in his prime. Derrick Rose was that dude. And unfortunately, injuries took a toll on him. Knees, that high flying took a toll on him, and he became, quite a shell of himself. But he was still able to get out a lengthy career, going to different teams, and still, was semi-productive off the bench. Going to, the New York Knicks. He played some time with Cleveland. He had a 50-point game in Minnesota when he played for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, Derrick Rose played him a little bit of time in Memphis, but he was able to, he wasn't the prime Derrick Rose, but he still was, could give you production. So I'm happy for Derrick Rose, man. He deserves it. He's somebody who one day I would like to meet. Hopefully I can get him on a podcast for an interview one day. But Derrick Rose, he was somebody special. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I graduated in 2012. You know what I'm saying? So I basically watched him his whole career. My freshman year of high school was 2009. So I watched him his whole career. But him, Russell Westbrook, those guys, man, at that time, man, those guys, they took the league by storm and they revolutionized the point guard position. Now, when you watch these point guards nowadays, they not pass first. I mean, you still got CP3 running around, but they not traditional old school point guards. Now these guys is trying to score the basketball. You got guys like Ja trying to take your head off. You know what I'm saying? That came from Derrick Rose. So salute to Derrick Rose, man. You deserve it. I watched your speech and everything, man. I like what you did with your son at your old high school, playing together and everything like that. So salute to Derrick Rose, man. You deserve it, bro, and I'm happy for you. I just wanted to go ahead and talk about that real quick, man, because that was something special to me. Because like I said, I watched him his whole career, and if anybody else deserve it, Derrick Rose deserve it. Because if it wasn't due to injury, man, I think we really could have witnessed. We really was going to be watching one of the greats, and he still is a great. Absolutely. But unfortunately, the injuries did what they did, and you know, his career, because if teams would have had to deal with prime D Rose for the length of that oh my God. Like I said, if you never had a chance to go watch Derrick Rose in his prime, and this for any young kids, or if you never go watch Derrick Rose in his prime and you'll see what I'm talking about. But shout out to Derrick Rose, man. Congratulations on getting your jersey hung in the rafters, and you'll be a legend in Chicago forever, brother. Moving on. NFL wild card, first round. So this is the week. All of the regular season is over. This is the time. So the NFL wild card begins this weekend. I believe the first game start on Saturday. Last game is Washington versus the Bucks on Sunday Night Football. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the seeding first before I go ahead and give my predictions on wild card weekend. So for the NFC, we got the first seed, the Detroit Lions. They'll get a bye. They beat the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football to end up getting the number 1 seed. So the Detroit Lions will have a bye. The number 2 seed is the Philadelphia Eagles. They'll play the number 7 seed Green Bay Packers. The number 3 seed is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They'll play the number 6 seed Washington Commanders. And the number 4 seed is the Los Angeles Rams, and they will play the number 5 seed. Minnesota Vikings. I'm sorry. I just had a brain fart. My bad, y'all. And on the AFC side, the Chiefs are the number 1 seed. They'll get the bye week. I'm having a brain fart, but I don't remember the seeding all together with the if I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me on this. So it'll be the number 2 seed is the Buffalo Bills. They'll take on the Denver Broncos, who's the number 7 seed. The Ravens, I believe, are the number 3 seed. They'll take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's the number 6 seed. The number 5 seed, I believe, is it the Houston Texans, or is the Houston Texans? Houston Texans may be the number 4 seed, playing the number 5 the Chargers, the 5 seed the Chargers. I don't know, but y'all know. Look it up. If I got something wrong, look it up. Let me know in the comment section. But these are my predictions for NFL Wild Card Weekend. So I went. I think this is going to be the most boringest game out of all of them. But I went Chargers over Texans. I think just due to injury with the Texans got riddled with injuries throughout the season. And I just think the Chargers can find a way to squeak past them. I like what Jim Harbaugh's been doing over there with them. I'm shocked. The Chargers was one of the teams I honestly thought the Chargers was going to have a down year. But they ended up, getting into the playoffs, having a pretty solid season. They just picked up Ezekiel Elliott. But I took the Chargers over the Texans. I went Ravens over Steelers. I just think the Ravens, the Steelers lately have kind of been getting the best of the Ravens in that, but I don't see a scenario where the Steelers win this game. I just think the Steelers, honestly, down the stretch of this season, the Steelers have been terrible. If you watched them against the Bengals this past weekend, they were awful. I don't think Russ is very good. George Pickens, it don't look good. George Pickens might end up being a cancer in that locker room. They may have to move on from him. I don't think the defense is very good. So I went and bought him, and I think just Lamar has been out of his mind this year. I think he's going to end up winning the MVP with Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers voted into the Pro Bowl. I think the Ravens beat the Steelers and move on. I took Bills over the Broncos, and I like the Broncos team. I just think the experience with young Bo Nix having to go to Buffalo in that cold weather, I just think it's going to be a little tough. And the lack of weapons, I don't think Denver has that many weapons. I think Josh Allen, along with Cooks and, Amari Cooper and them boys, I think the Bills will end up winning that game just off of I think just the atmosphere and just Denver being a pretty young team. So I went Bills over Broncos. I went Eagles over Packers, but I'm a little nervous about that one because Jalen Hurts is still up in the air with his concussion protocol. Hopefully Jalen Hurts could play, and if Jalen Hurts does play, I think the Eagles will win this game honestly quite easily. But I'm just not sold on Green Bay. Jordan Love suffered an injury this past weekend. Christian Watkins is out for the season. I don't really trust their wide receiver core, and I don't think their defense is too. I don't think their defense can keep up with the offensive firepower that the Eagles have. So if Jalen Hurts plays, I went Philly over the Packers. If he doesn't play, I don't know, that right there, that could switch quick. But right now, I'm just going to assume that Jalen Hurts plays. I went Eagles over the Packers. This one right here was really tough, and I know my Commanders fans is going to be at my neck for this one. This right here, to me, I think is going to be the most interesting but toughest game to pick on Wild Card Weekend, because, and this all biased to the side, Jaden Daniels is a hell of a quarterback. The Commanders found a franchise guy. I like Terry McLaurin. I like what Dan Quinn has done with that team. I like what Cliff Kingsbury is doing with the offense. I think the defense is pretty solid. They can get stops when need be. Marshawn Lattimore should play this week. I like Frankie Louvu. I like the things that they've done on the defensive line. The pass rushes, Dante Fowler has had a breakout year for them. And on the Bucs side of things, Mike Evans, 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. First ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Baker Mayfield has had a solid season. I like the run game. On the defensive side of the ball, they still got Levante David, the linebacker, Vita Vea, the big defensive tackle in the middle. My only question mark for the Buccaneers is that secondary. Can that secondary hold up and contain Terry McLaurin? Zacchaeus has started to come on for the Commanders as of late. Zach Ertz has started to come on. This was a tough game for me to pick. But, and don't come at my neck for this, I went Bucks over Commanders. But I'm going to tell you why. And honestly, I could be wrong about this, because I really think, seriously, heart of hearts, I think the Commanders can win this game. I think they can win this game. But I went Bucks. The only reason I went Bucks over Commanders is because me watching that game on Sunday with the Commanders versus my Cowboys, Jaden Daniels, to me, struggled with pressure. And one thing we know about Todd Bowles like to put pressure on the quarterback. He liked the blitz. Now, it could come back and bite him in the ass because it has before, but he liked the blitz. And I think if they can get enough pressure on Jaden Daniels, not allow him to escape out of the pocket and keep him contained and get enough pressure on him and get some sacks, I think they could ride him. Because if we being honest, before Marcus Mariota came in that game on Sunday, Jaden Daniels didn't look too good before they pulled him, you know what I'm saying, in the second half. So I think that if Todd Bowles can dial it up, and if they gonna need to get home, because that secondary is food. So they gonna need to get home. I think if they can get home a couple of times and kind of rattle Jaden Daniels, I think that the Bucks, Baker Mayfield could be wishy-washy too. But I think Baker Mayfield and that offense can make enough plays to win that game. Now, we all know the battles that Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore had. We know that. So that's going to be a battle. I think the Bucks can be able to make enough plays. This is a rematch from week 1. So you know Jaden Daniels going to be looking to get his lick back from week 1. But we going to see. But I went Bucks over the Commanders. But that's the game I'm most excited for heading into this weekend. And last but not least, I went Minnesota Vikings over the Rams. And the Rams, I'm so disappointed, y'all. I don't like what y'all did. The Commanders helped y'all clinch a playoff spot. You guys got the opportunity. If y'all win that game against Seattle, y'all could possibly play the Commanders in the playoffs. Y'all decide to sit y'all starters. So now you end up having to play either Detroit or Minnesota. End up being Minnesota. So I don't like what the Rams did, but this is the matchup, and I'm gonna be honest. I think this game could be close. This is another one I'm excited for because we know the Rams at home in LA. Matthew Stafford can get hot. And you know they got Williams in the backfield, one of the best backs in the league, along with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. You know if Matthew Stafford get hot enough, he could run. He can get you up out of there. And that the only thing that concerns me with the Rams is that defense. They defense, and you know that Vikings offense is going to be looking to bounce back. Sam Darnold kind of turned back into his old self against Detroit this past Sunday, but I think they're going to go in there trying to get their face back. He kind of missed some throws with Justin Jefferson. I think they're going to try to get that together along with Addison, Hawkinson, and then you know you got Jones and Akins is starting to kind of make plays for the Vikings. So I think this is going to be a very close game. But I went Minnesota. I went Vikings over Rams in a very, very close game. I think that game is going to be interesting too. Those 2 games I'm most looking forward to heading into the weekend. Well, 3. I'm looking forward to Eagles, Packers, Bucks, Commanders, and Vikings, Rams. Those are the 3 games I'm looking forward to. I ain't saying the AFC gonna be born dreams, but I think we kind of know who's gonna win those games in the AFC. But we just gotta wait and see, and we'll find out next week. So that's it for this episode. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right there. Y'all already know the motto, no gimmicks, only the real. This is episode 29. I appreciate everybody for rocking with me. Do not forget what I said. I need y'all to smash that subscribe button. We on our way. We right there at 200 we right there at 200 subscribers. I need y'all to hit that subscribe button. Also, do not forget to like and share the content when it's dropped. And do not forget to follow me on all social media platforms. They were posted at the beginning of the video. So enjoy the rest of y'all week. Have an outstanding, safe weekend, and I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.